What's up guys, Rhen coming to you today with another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. Today we're going to look at the meta, how it's been changing, what could be coming next, and talk about what's going on. So with that, let's get into it. Alright guys, so let's jump right into the meta-analysis for this last week. As you can see, we have had a somewhat of a shift in the meta in terms of what units are being played. I'll talk about that. We're going to see how this plays out in the team comps section in a minute when we get to the team comps, but for now let's look at the units themselves. So we are seeing a resurgence of the Blue King, a drop in the Gother, Escanor is holding about even, Hauser's big bump, and we're seeing about even on the Helbrum, aka the Kingbrum. So this is pretty interesting. You can remember, a few weeks ago, Gother was as high as 90% of matches and of teams had Gother in them. That is now down to 60%. So we're really seeing kind of these high pressure team archetypes unfolding that don't rely on Gother. They don't care about ult draining. They don't care about attack ceiling. They want to do the maximum amount of damage in the minimum amount of time. And so they're opting for more aggressive units than Gother and sacrificing some of that utility for pure damage output. Similarly, we're seeing a drop in Merlin played. We had seen a little bit of an uptick in Merlin plays for sort of a utility comp team. We're not seeing as much of that this week. Again, we're really just seeing, I don't want to call them face roll comps, but we're seeing very aggressive comps played this week. And, we're seeing Twiggos in the sub, we're seeing Arthur's in the sub, Hauser's in the sub. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So let's look at the comps. All right, so you heard me talk about it last week, what I called the Escabro archetype. The idea that, rather than pairing Escanor with Gother or with other utility characters, people are starting to pair him more with passive buffing characters like Hauser, like Arthur, basically on the way to the what I call the Honey Badger team, which is Escanor just doesn't care who you petrify, who you do what to. He's going to do a ton of damage and he's just going to wreck your face. So we're seeing a big shift in the meta actually from last week to this week, or the week before to this last week. Which is to say that we're seeing, a lot more of this Escabro archetype. So rank number 1, Escanor, Blue King, Hauser. People have dropped the Gother and have gone for the Hauser. The Hauser is going to get Escanor a buff on his basic stats. It's going to be more damage. In terms of what people are playing in the sub, we're kind of seeing two paths in the sub with this rank number 1 team. Some people are playing with the Merlin for the ult rush type of a team. That's more of a classic setup that we've seen in the past. But then the other thing that I mentioned last week that we may start seeing more of, that we are seeing more of this week, is playing Arthur in the sub to just give that Escanor some sustain. They recognize that their Blue King is probably going to go down pretty soon. He's a common first target. So the idea is that, by putting Arthur in the sub, giving the life steal to everybody, when Escanor does damage, he heals himself back up. That's a pretty good combination with Hauser as well, because when Hauser does AoE, he heals himself back up pretty quickly as well. So when Arthur comes in, or even when Arthur's on the bench, this team is pretty tanky and pretty good in terms of damage output. Team number 2, Gother, King, Helbrum. There's the Kingbrum team. Again, no real big surprise, a real big change there. We do see a little bit of a bump. I believe it was in the 15 to 20% range last week. So we see that's up to about 25% this week. And we're seeing actually the mono red is still there. It's not quite as prevalent as it has been in the past. We've kind of seen it hovering in this 15% range, so really not a huge change there. Rank 4, Gother, Escanor, Arthur. That's actually, it could be somewhat similar to the rank 1, except they're using Gother for that extra utility in the attack seal. The rank 5 team, Gother, Escanor, King, is actually pretty similar to the rank 1. In fact, it could be, that they're running either Hauser or Arthur in the sub. So all in all, we're seeing, lots of Escanor-based teams. It's not that we're seeing more Escanor. I mean, as we saw in the previous discussion on the previous slide, we're still seeing Escanor in about 55% of teams. But what we're seeing the movement toward is teams that are centered around Escanor. Rather than having Escanor be a piece of the team, Escanor is now the center of the team. And so, we're seeing, move towards more Hauser, more Arthur, more types of buffers that are basically going to be supporting Escanor and letting Escanor do that work. All right, in terms of the color circle, we really haven't had a whole lot of movement. Red is hovering right around this 50 to 55% range. Blue and green, they go up and down, a little bit each week, but they're hovering right around a quarter each. And so again, you know, the effect of this is really basically the Escanor influence on a color circle. We're seeing the red as a backlash against Escanor. We're not seeing blue rise up against Escanor. I mean, we're not seeing blue rise up against the red because Escanor is keeping them in check. So one interesting thing this week is I was wondering if we'd see any effect of the green Lillia release. We have not really seen that. You know, we saw her in a few matches, didn't really see her take off. So, you know, we can't say for certain what the cause is for that. Either people don't have her because they didn't pull her because they're refusing to pull in the banner as a form of protest, or they do have her but they just haven't figured her out, or they don't think that she's really that strong in the meta right now. So other than that, hope this was helpful for you guys. If you enjoy this, I do release this type of information every week. There's a special function on YouTube that lets you know when I release videos. I don't know what it's called. There's probably some button for that. You can probably figure out what that is. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more cool stuff.